This is Banni. Banni was my brother. Well, almost. For a year and a half, this little boy was part of my family. Until one day, he had to leave. We were told he'd come back, but he never did.
It's New Year's Eve. We're here at the 3 NYE celebrations at College Green in the heart of Dublin city centre.
My name is Colm Flynn, and I'm normally reporting on other people's stories for different TV and radio shows. But this time, it's a little different. 16 years ago, my brother Banni was forced to return to an orphanage in Belarus, and we've never been told why. I want to travel to Belarus to find Banni and see how he's doing now.
Do you speak English?
I may not get to see him, but at least I might get some answers as to what went wrong.
Hi.
Some people were called and some people are very upset that we're here, and apparently the KGB are on the way.
Oh, shit.
I'm from Ennis in County Clare. And this is where I grew up with my parents, my brother and my sister.
You should get Snapchat.
And it was here in 2000 that a little boy from Belarus arrived one day and joined our family. And we really had no idea who was about to enter our lives.
This is Banni. His name is Ivan. But his pet name is Banni. Right down on your hand. Quick. Got it, Banni.
Oh, there I am. I remember we burst in through the door and we're so excited. Then I think we all just stopped because he was just sitting there staring at us.
Whoa, Banni's attacking the camera.
I remember he was just so small and quite shy and frightened as well.
Yeah, and his little flat teeth from grinding his teeth. The back of his head flat and his legs were permanently crossed.
That's because he was lying in a cot for 6 years, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, Banni's a great fan.
Not coming fast enough, look. We were giving him little bits of food, but he didn't know how to pick up anything. He'd never held anything in his hand.
Yeah, he was 6 years old. But of course, he looked like a 1.5-year-old or something like that. He couldn't grasp a piece of bread or anything. He'd never been shown how to.
Where's the boxer? Right, I'm going to take that top off you. Come on. And put your jammies on.
Wherever you'd leave him, he would just stay there in the first couple of weeks. If you left him on the couch, he would just sit and not move. If you left him on the floor, it was the same thing. But,
how that changed.
That changed pretty fast, yeah.
Right.
It's hard to believe that this little boy was 6 years of age. He looked only 2 or 3. And to explain how he ended up in our family, we have to go back 30 years.
От Совета министров СССР.
An official announcement from the Council of Ministers. There has been an accident at the Chernobyl atomic power station.
In 1986, the eyes of the world turned to Ukraine in Eastern Europe. A serious accident at the Chernobyl Nuclear power station released a deadly cloud of radioactive particles over Northern Europe. The first country hit and worst affected by the fallout, Belarus, just to the north.
Ooh, the smell hits you in this one.
The Soviet Union played down the accident, but it wasn't until the years rolled on that increased numbers of children were being born with tumours, cancers and other disabilities. Many of these children were abandoned by their families and put into orphanages dotted all over Belarus, institutionalized in facilities where the conditions were often extremely grim. The international response was quick. People did all they could to help, no more so than the Irish.
We hope to change the lives of about 500 children. We hope to make things better for those in the next couple of years.
A Christian brother from County Limerick, Brother Liam O'Mara, started to help out with a charity called the Burn Chernobyl Project. He found conditions so shocking in the orphanages, he decided to move to Belarus and fight for a better future for these children. He has dedicated the past 20 years of his life to improving conditions in these orphanages and changing people's attitudes towards those with disabilities. What made the Burn Chernobyl Project unique to other organisations working in the country is that they started to bring Belarusian orphans to Ireland for a month's holiday every summer. And that's where my family comes in.
We were at church one Sunday and there was an appeal for host families to mind a handicapped child who would come from an orphanage in the Chernobyl region. They said that for every month the child had in Ireland with good food and fresh air, their life expectancy would be expanded by 3 years.
Show me those thingy toes, and he's had his hair combed.
He didn't recognise anything around him, he had no interest whatsoever in anything. But you were shaking things in front of him, and then you were producing bits of chocolate. And other children were coming in to see him. And very, very quickly, I saw this spark coming. And literally within a week, the child started to develop. Great to see what Banni can do.
Banni was only supposed to stay with us for 1 week, but it's hard to explain. Banni just fitted in right away. So we asked could we keep him a little longer. Then weeks turned into months, months turned into over a year, and Banni had become part of our family.
He loved good food, things like yogurt, and he was just soaking it up for the nourishment. He was obviously never used to anything like that. He came getting stronger and stronger. He started getting a bit colour in his cheeks. That's something like Banni when he grows up. He became very robust, and he had a great little personality and sense of humour. You could tell him stories, although he never spoke and he didn't understand what you were saying, but you could get the gist of the story. You better stay there. I shall go to sleep.
Every morning he was just laughing hysterically at 6 o'clock in the morning.
And everyone else loved him, like our friends. I remember Mum bringing him into school and he had his whole Celtic kit on. And all the kids were surrounding him, like.
I was minding him in the house one day and he dragged himself over to the short window ledge in the living room and he'd pulled himself up and his legs were trembling and his face was all red. He was trying that hard, and that was him standing for the first time.
Good boy! Right, come on, this way. One hand now. We just felt it would be awful to send him back. We spoke about it and said, well, he could just tag along with us. Is that about 11 or whatever?
No, it doesn't like it.
I just put him through his paces.
After 18 months with us, Banni had developed so much. No longer was he the quiet and frightened little boy he was when he first arrived. He was now adventurous, experiencing things for the first time and finding out what it meant to have a family who loved him. And if Banni was to go back, it would be to an overcrowded and run-down orphanage where he would have no one to care for him like we could. This was something my parents couldn't bear, and the decision was made to adopt Banni.
God, no, I'd love to keep this boy.
They went through a long process and were cleared for adoption on the Irish side. But then, things started to go wrong.
One day we just got a call to say Banni had to come back to the orphanage.
Did they say why?
There was no specific reason, but they said it's only for a short time and Banni then will be returned to you and you'll have everything finalised. The first thing, they met us at the airport and the first thing that was asked for was his passport. I went with Banni to the orphanage. Now, obviously, when he's been in his own bedroom and with the family in Ireland and then he's put back into a metal cot I could see the fear in his face. The man in charge of the Gorodisce orphanage, he seemed quite happy the fact that Banni was eventually heading to Ireland, but there seemed to be a problem. We couldn't get the proper answer, so we travelled to Brest, which was the sort of local headquarters of the group of orphanages. We had a translator with us, and she was asking the questions, do you trust us, or is there anything wrong with the papers, or no, nothing, he will be sent back in a month. We kept hearing this magic word, a month. The lawyer, she kept trying to phone the orphanage to say, why are we right, are we ready to go ahead, and she was getting put off.
They must have given some indication as to why they were going to block it or stop it, or why they were delaying it?
We had no indication whatsoever. Later on, the translator told me, unofficially, that the doctor had said, there has to be something wrong with that woman who wants to adopt a handicapped child. Also, the man in charge did not want Belarusian children to go to Ireland. For no reason, he did not want the Belarusian children to go to Ireland.
And did it come a time when you got a letter to the house saying, no, it's officially stopped, or was it just someone said, look, or you just went on and on?
No, we just went on, and we began to realise that he wouldn't be allowed out, you know. Yeah, it seems unbelievable that in our eyes, but over there, a handicapped child means nothing, you know. And you can give your child up to the state. Anybody, even a child that's not handicapped, if you can't look after them, you can hand them up.
And so when you left Banni in the orphanage, that's the last day you saw him?
Yes.
And what was he like when you left?
It was awful. He was standing holding on to the steel bit, the iron bars of the cot, waiting for me to turn around and lift him up again. And I couldn't.
It's been 15 years since Banni left my family, but we still know where he's located thanks to a woman my parents stayed in touch with in the orphanage called Irene. He was 6 when he left her family, so now he's 21. I'm traveling to Belarus to try and meet the little boy who was once my brother. And to try and get some answers as to why he was taken back. I don't know what to expect. I'm nervous and frightened because I'm not really sure if going back to see him is the best idea. What if he remembers me? I really don't want to upset him. Just taken off from London, feeling pretty wrecked. Got only a couple of hours sleep last night, went to bed around 2, up at 5 this morning, so hopefully I'll get some sleep, and just mind keeps racing about the next couple of days and what it'll be like, but fingers crossed. I've been to Belarus before with the Burn Chernobyl project. I travelled there in 2009 to do some charity work and was shocked by some of the conditions. I also got the impression that trying to get answers in this country is no easy task. Nestled between Russia and Poland, Belarus has a population of over 9 million. It was in the heart of the Soviet Union for many decades, but in 1990, after the fall of the Iron Curtain, Belarus became an independent state. Then, 4 years later, a previously unknown former Soviet soldier came to power and has ruled the country ever since. President Alexander Lukashenko has been in charge here for a staggering 22 years. Is it any wonder that many call Belarus Europe's last dictatorship? We literally had just arrived, just landed at Minsk airport, collected our rented car, and even though we have, are we going the right way? But anyway, even though we had our right accreditation and we have our press passes and all that stuff, Dara was out filming, and what happened, Dara? What did they say to you?
No photo, no film.
No photos, no film. So yeah, not off to a great start in Belarus. In Minsk, Belarus's capital, the hallmarks of the old Soviet regime are everywhere. And when I arrive, preparations are underway for their Independence Day. The city is impressive, and the government wants to show off all that is good about the country. But I'm leaving the pomp and the fanfare of the capital behind and driving an hour south of Minsk to the rural countryside and the village where Banni's orphanage is. It almost doesn't seem real that I'm here now, driving through the countryside in Belarus, heading back to Gorodisce Orphanage, where Banni came from. 16 years have gone by, and it might sound strange, but I almost hope that he doesn't remember me, because I think it would be too upsetting for him and for me if me meeting him and interacting with him brought back memories of his time in Ireland. I just hope that he's been looked after, and I think if we have some time together, if it's nice for both of us and it's not upsetting for both of us, I think that'll be good. Gorodisce is a remote farming village and home to the orphanage where Banni lives, along with roughly 300 other children. Gorodisce Orphanage and institutions like it in Belarus historically have had a bad reputation, made famous in Ireland in news reports over the years, with stories of children often living in deplorable conditions, receiving little or no stimulation, love or attention.
Tony, they get the kids to wipe it up, look.
For years, Irish volunteers have been visiting these orphanages, trying to help out in any way that they can, and conditions have been improving. I've arranged to meet Brother Liam from the Burn Chernobyl project at the orphanage. He has spent over 20 years fighting to improve conditions in special needs institutions in Belarus. I'm also hoping he can help me arrange a meeting with Banni. Hi, we're looking for Brother Liam? Yeah, hi, nice to meet you. I'm from Ireland. Nice. Okay, thank you. Everyone's out. Oh, look, the Irish jersey. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Today.
Up here. Thank you very much.
Today.
They just love seeing people coming to visit, and especially the Irish. They've come to know the Irish over the years. And I suppose they know when they see Irish coming, they know there's going to be fun. They're probably bringing sweets and treats. I think I could just park my car anywhere here. I don't think you get clamped in orphanages. Irene! I'm surprised to see Irene is here to welcome me, along with Brother Liam.
Oh, so good to see you again.
Irene is a carer who works in the orphanage and became good friends with my family as we were going through the adoption process.
Ah, very good. Thank you so much.
You had no trouble finding the place?
Ah, we had a bit of trouble, but we're here now.
Is it grown in numbers and more people coming in? Or?
No, it's about the same. You know, most of these are around 300, and there aren't so many smaller ones.
Hello. Hello.
Здравствуйте.
When Brother Liam first arrived over 2 decades ago, he didn't speak a word of Russian. But over the years, he's become an integral part of transforming institutions like this one, all because of what he witnessed when he first arrived.
Special needs people, I don't think they had a great value under the communist system, so they were, like in Ireland and Go, they were hidden away and kept at a very minimal level of existence. The director in Gorodisce, I remember him one time talking, he said, well, the Irish people taught us how to relate to the children, you know, because there wouldn't have been that level of contact and hands-on picking up children. Even when we went first to Gorodisce, somebody said, how can you look at them? You know, even that, how can you look at them? But once you change a child, put on a clean nappy and they're washed, and they hadn't been washed in maybe, I don't know how long, ever. And once somebody is clean, they're a different person, like, you know. And once you get to know the personality and get to know what they're saying or trying to say, it changes everything, like, you know. They don't have to be able to talk to you to get on with them.
I've been told that the director of the orphanage wants to meet us before we start to do anything. He has a few concerns. Is he a nice man?
Lovely.
Okay. And he just wants reassurance that it'll be...
We're not too sure.
Okay. We'll wait and see.
Where are we? Okay. Is the man busy? Здравствуйте. Nah.
When we sit down with the director, we're informed that there's been a change of plan. And even though we've travelled all this way with the correct documentation, we were not allowed to film in the orphanage, and I could not see Banni if there was a camera present. But after much negotiation, we have a breakthrough.
This is this. Yeah.
The director agrees to give us limited filming access to certain parts of the orphanage.
Immaculate.
But this is very much a strictly controlled guided tour.
Hello. Put it there. Good girl. Ah, good boy.
You can have him.
Every child we interact with,
Hello. Okay, big hug.
every move we make, is being closely monitored by the orphanage director.
Can I get a hug? No? You're shy?
You will be following them everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I know that Banni could only be meters away in another room, but I don't know if I'll get to see him.
I'm looking for Natalie. She is the person who could answer so many questions about why these adoptions can be blocked. Okay. This is our turn. So same girl again. Oh, she's slamming it closed. Oh, shit. This isn't gonna go well.
According to reports, over 30,000 children live in orphanages or state institutions in Belarus today. Irish Christian brother Liam O'Mara is giving me a tour of Gorodisce Orphanage under the supervision of the orphanage director.
Oh, hello.
And I'm hoping I can meet the boy who was once my brother, Banni.
Ruslana.
Ruslana. Oh, beautiful name, Ruslana. Oh, hello. Katyan. Hello, Katyan. So everywhere we go, we have the director behind us. Unfortunately, at the moment, we're being told that we can't meet Banni or see him or film him, but maybe in a few days that will change. But at the moment, we're going around and we're meeting the different groups, and you can see all the volunteers from Ireland there playing with them. So they're colouring with them. Just like, the basic thing is interacting with them. I mean, that's the most important thing. When they come over and they want to hug you and kind of grab onto you. How long of the year is the weather good like this for them to stay?
It'll be good to up to September, maybe. Maybe not as hot as this, but
okay, yeah.
Or July, August can be very hot.
So they'll be out every day?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And then to be inside in the winter, you know, from October, you're probably indoors for 6 months. So you can imagine there's no fresh air, smells of human bodies, yeah.
I mean, in the past, there wouldn't have been facilities like this where they have for them to come out every day. And...
No, they'd be trying to go under a tree or under a bush or whatever, like, you know, but yeah, the verandas have gone up. And volunteers have come along, given a bit of money for it, and we got it done then, as they...
You must be proud, Liam, when you see things like this and how it's coming on.
Well, you'd love to have one at home, wouldn't you? Yeah, and a bit of sunshine, yeah, it'd be great.
She's smiling at me, telling my mammy on you.
She was telling me her story one time, and she says, I didn't want to be born an invalid. I wanted to be born normal, you know.
But is there anything wrong with her mentally? Or?
Mentally she's fine, yeah.
Mentally she's completely fine, yeah. Wow. Would that be the case with a lot of them, that they would be mentally fine?
Yeah. Because they might be slow learners, that's enough to get you into one of these places, and hard to get back out of it, like, you know.
It's incredible to see all these children who, for different reasons, have ended up in Gorodisce.
Oh my God, that's a strong grip. Whoa. Good boy, good boy.
For the majority of these children, the rest of their lives will be spent inside the walls of state institutions.
Ow!
Interacting with the children, it's clear how much of a difference the Irish volunteers have made to their lives. And just before we move on, one of them has a surprise for us.
Bye. To go a long way to Tipperary, the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye. Farewell to it's a long, long way to Tipperary.
And my love, just
Just as I'm about to give up hope of seeing Banni today, Brother Liam has some news.
Now, will I tell you about your Banni?
Yeah.
Now, we're going in now to Group 7, where he is. And don't be surprised if you don't get a big reaction, you know. If you bring maybe sweets or food or something, he will react to that more than, you know, to anything else, I think. So, just for you to know.
Okay,
you know,
my heart is beating, just waiting.
Yeah, to get it in, yeah. It'll be interesting to see him, like, you know, it'll be to see how it goes, mind the tree there. Yeah.
I'm nervous.
This is Vanya.
Hi,
Vanya was in Ireland.
nice to meet you. How are you? Hello. I'll come back in. Marina, nice to meet you. Hello, everybody. Oh, Banni. Hello, Banni. Banni, hello. You remember me? Hello, Banni.
Ваня, поцелуешь его, а?
Give me a hug, Banni.
А, Ванька, нет.
Banni. Hello. Hey, Banni. Banni. You remember me? Hello, Banni. Give me a hug.
He thinks that you brought him sweets.
Oh, I have no sweets, Banni.
Я он думает, что не принес. Ваня, где Колом? Ты помнишь, а? Ты помнишь Колома, а? Ты вырос, Ванька. И часто закрывается он.
Yeah, he's probably tired. Oh, Banni, all the attention. Good boy, Banni. Banni.
Vanya, słuchaj, man, это твой друг. Помнишь, как я был в Ирландии с Колом? Помнишь? Да, смотри, это Колом, твой друг. Ты был в Ирландии? Да, не помнишь это?
You reminded him about Ireland?
Yeah. I think we got a little bit of a smile, a bit of a reaction, yeah.
Banni. Hey, Banni.
Это Colm.
He was my brother for a year.
Он был в Ирландии, он жил с Коломом, в семье Колом, да, когда маленький.
Banni. It's probably too much excitement for him for one day. He seems so much more frail, quieter.
He doesn't understand me. And I'm here all the time.
It's amazing, he's the quietest one in here. The only one not talking or moving around. It's like he's gone backwards. From when he was with us in Ireland, it's like he's actually gone backwards. Back to the way he was when he first arrived with us. Quiet, nervous, and scared. Banni. I come back tomorrow, Banni.
Okay.
Пошли, Валя. Что тебе рука такая синяя? Кто тебе
Нет, моя папочка.
Okay, we're being told we have to leave now, so I hope we can come back, see Banni again. Banni? I'll come back again tomorrow or the next day. Bye, Banni. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye.
Come on, a big fatty. Good boy.
Seeing Banni again was so difficult.
To the tombs!
His expressionless gaze is a far cry from the little boy we had in our home, bursting with personality and happiness. It seems so terribly wrong that he was never allowed to stay with my family. And I can't help but wonder what the hell has happened to him. I am happy I got to see him again, but I don't know if any part of him remembered me, and I really hope it didn't upset him. We're told that we have to leave, but that I can come back and spend more time with Banni tomorrow.
Oh, look at you. How old were you at that
I don't
time?
know.
And Banni is sitting in front.
That evening in a neighbouring town, I'm meeting Irene.
Your beautiful mommy with him.
She's the woman who became close friends with my family during the adoption. She knows more about Banni's life than anyone, and I'm glad to be spending some time with her.
Banni's story is a sad story. His mother, when the child was born, he was not well because she spent some time in psychiatric hospital, and at the moment she is in adult asylum herself. She has schizophrenia, so she can't recognize people. She has deep depression. That's why it's impossible for Banni to meet her. And
Has she ever met Banni?
Never.
And Banni's father?
Banni's father. It's written in his documents that his father was Peter, but who knows? Because now nobody.
That's it, no one knows.
He wasn't visited in a baby orphanage, so.
And Banni, would you say he's autistic, is it, or what?
You know, he is autistic, I think, but 16 years passed, and Banni was included into the group of children who got education, and many children made progress, but Banni was really slow when even he was small. But in time, he's getting worse, I think.
And what will the future be for Banni?
So, because Banni is older than 18, he's 21 now, he could be easily taken to the adult place. And at the end of ends, he could be finished maybe with his mother, because his mother is in the adult asylum in our district. So
I don't know whether to think that would be a good thing or a bad
but
thing.
then, it happens that children can be in the same asylum and, for example, brothers, and do not know each other.
Yeah, they don't know about it.
Yeah, it's very upsetting when.
When I go home, Mum and Dad and my brother and sister are going to be asking me, what was Banni like? What should I tell them?
What can you answer? He's alive. We can't say that the life is easy for him. So it's a pity. Maybe don't say anything. We hope for future. Something might change in Banni.
I hope.
I hope your mother won't be too upset, because I understand her feelings, how much she loved him and wanted to have him at home with your family.
This is our turn, as far as I remember. Or is it? No, it's not.
Today I'm heading back to Gorodisce and looking forward to spending more time with Banni. Hopefully this time without the orphanage director looking on.
So same girl again. Oh, she's slamming it closed. She took one look at us and she slammed it closed. Oh, shit. I can see people through the break in the fence pacing back and forward. No car. Okay, I parked the car here.
I've got a feeling this is going to be a tough day. We've been summoned to the orphanage director's office again, but today it's more serious. Okay, bad news, I'm afraid. Apparently, some people were called and some people are very upset that we're here to film Banni and to film the orphanage. And apparently the KGB are on the way. Now, we found that a bit hard to believe that the KGB were coming to see us and ask us what we were doing, but he said it's 100% serious, they're on the way now, and if I was going to advise you, I'd tell you to leave straight away. So he won't let us back into the orphanage, and he's saying it's best that we leave the area, so we're not really left with much of a choice. As it was becoming clear to me that we weren't going to see Banni, we decided to leave. On the way back into Minsk, I called Natalie. She's the Belarusian lawyer my parents hired to try and get the adoption pushed through. I've arranged a meeting with her tonight. I'm looking for Natalie. Okay. Do you speak English? Do you speak English? Even though she's not answering, this meeting has been set up for weeks, and she's reassured me she'll be there. So I'm not giving up hope. It's been a long day. I'm walking through the city at night. I'm thinking about Banni and how on earth the adoption could have been blocked. I hope Natalie will have some of the answers I'm looking for. At 8 p.m, I arrive on time at a Minsk hotel where we've arranged to meet. Good evening. And I wait. I'm sitting in this swanky hotel in the middle of Minsk that has the most insane chandelier I've ever seen. And I don't think anyone's coming to meet me. Which is really disappointing because she is the person who could answer so many questions about why these adoptions can be blocked. But she's not here, and I don't think we'll get to meet her, which is a pity. It's starting to become clear to me that I might not ever get the answers I'm looking for. And I'm worried about what the future holds for Banni and where he'll end up next when he leaves the children's orphanage.
Children are much weaker than before the accident. Without any doubt, that's also caused by Chernobyl.
If we approach this soil, it's going to be even higher.
Is it like safe to be this close to it? It's interesting that they build these adult asylums in the middle of nowhere, so it's the whole idea of out of sight, out of mind. What a place. What a place. This has to be the coolest train I've ever been on. It's like we've gone back in time to the old Soviet era. And this train, it goes for 11 hours overnight over the border from Minsk all the way down into Ukraine.
What is your name?
My name is Colm. We are going to Chernobyl. Chernobyl. Why? It's kind of a long story. Just a small bit. Woo! This is more dangerous than Chernobyl. Why is no one else drinking?
Go, 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 go.
Oh. I wouldn't pull that handle if I were you.
Facebook.
Yes, I am on Facebook. We can be friends on Facebook. Oh my God, we have just made some friends. No one has a clue what's going on here. Beautiful carpet. On our trains, no carpet. Very sad. Viva Belarus!
This is your name? Facebook, okay. I will add you on Facebook. Her husband is a boxer. Take your name back, I do not want it. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. Uh-oh, party's over. More cognac. Oh, I'm joking. Oh, sorry.
This is going police.
Oh, police.
When I travelled to Belarus in 2009 with the Burn Chernobyl project, I was really shocked by some of the conditions that the children in the orphanage had. Limbs deformed or missing, tumours, growths. It's very hard to say where all these disabilities come from. It's nearly impossible to make an official link to anything. But for most people, these disabilities can be linked back to something which happened hundreds of kilometres away, 30 years ago. It was 1986 when the Chernobyl nuclear disaster made headlines and caused widespread panic throughout Europe. It was the worst nuclear accident the world had ever seen. Could Banni and all the other children really have been this badly affected by Chernobyl?
How are you?
I'm travelling south on an 11-hour train journey across the border and into neighbouring country Ukraine. Chernobyl is now an exclusion zone and off limits for most. Pripyat was once a vibrant city of 50,000 people very close to the power plant. It's now an eerie ghost town, frozen in time for the last 30 years. Vita Payakova is an official guide and agreed to show me around.
For Ukraine, the natural radiation background is up to 0.3.
And we're all exposed to that. Different parts of the world, there's background radiation.
Exactly, but if we approach this soil, it's going to be even higher because the soil in the exclusion zone is the place where radionuclides are kept. So all the cesium and strontium and americium and plutonium are in the soil, emitting these particles which are being calculated by the Geiger counter.
Is it like safe to be this close to it?
Well, it's safe to be in a short period of time, but living at such conditions is no good.
Built in 1970, Pripyat was held as a model Soviet city, and the nearby Chernobyl plant was a proud beacon of the state's nuclear energy program. But that dream was to fall apart on the 26th of April, 1986.
It must have been so frightening for people. What were they thinking? Like, were they aware of the scale of what had happened?
Contrary to popular belief, those people didn't really realize what had happened because they were told there was just a fire. They were not panicking.
They didn't realize there was the silent killer that is radiation.
Yeah, because you can smell it, you can touch it. So they were just, continuing their daily routine.
In the days following the accident, the radiation levels were so high, the government sent in hundreds of buses, and every single person in the city was ordered on, never to return. But the disaster's legacy was far worse than anyone could ever have imagined, especially for Belarus, with its borders only 10 kilometers from Chernobyl.
Just after the accident, the wind would blow to the west. But while the reactor was still burning, the wind changed its direction and would blow to Belarus. So totally, about 70% of all these radiation went to Belarus.
Wow. And because of that, we see so many disabilities there now, people who are physically challenged.
Well, these might be, also, this might be interconnected. Plus, there in Belarus, they've got their own exclusion zone. So the people were also evacuated, like here in Ukraine. But people with disabilities and that they're struggling, and children are much weaker than before the accident. Without any doubt, that's also caused by Chernobyl.
It's difficult to take in what actually happened here. And it's scary to think that a generation later, and hundreds of kilometers away, children in Belarus are still being affected by the fallout, and will be for many years to come. So what will the future hold for Banni and the other orphans in Belarus? In 2009, when I visited, I went to some of the country's adult asylums. The conditions I saw were horrific. The people wandered around, crawled on the ground, and some were even locked up. It's so worrying for me and my family to think that this could be where Banni is moved to next.
When you mention the word Trotsky to people, it sends a shiver down their spine because this place is one of the worst. And it's interesting that they build these adult asylums in the middle of nowhere. So it's the whole idea of out of sight, out of mind, to kind of keep them out of view of everyone else.
Brother Liam is bringing me back to Trotsky to see what conditions are like today.
Привет. Как дела? Здравствуй все. Привет. Садись. Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте.
Hello.
Да.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
So this is their television room.
Hello.
Здравствуйте.
They're relaxing in here. They're taking it easy. Hello, guys. Whoop. Fall and break my leg, at least in the medical
Yeah, that's
center,
the thing about the steps. There are different rises on
They
them.
are.
Yeah.
Then in here, just other people.
He's saying this is what used to be the lock-up area with the...
Oh, I see, yeah.
They've changed it.
Oh, they've changed it, yeah.
Сейчас у нас этих решеток нет.
They don't have that
Но
anymore.
здесь у нас самые такие агрессивные больные.
They have some aggressive people here, all right.
What do they do with aggressive people?
Если сильно агрессивные, то это отправляем на реабилитацию, новинки у нас есть.
Yeah, if they have, come up with very serious problems, they send them on to Novinky Hospital in Minsk, which deals with all the major psychiatric problems.
Okay.
On the face of it, it does seem like conditions have improved somewhat. But still, I dread the thought of Banni coming here. He seems far too young to end up in a place like this.
И сколько у вас лет сейчас? 70 уже? Да. He says he was about 20 when he came in, so he's 70 now.
Does he like it here?
И как здесь? Нормально?
Нормально.
Нормально. Друзья у вас есть?
Есть.
Yes.
What a place. What a place.
There is some hope, though. Brother Liam is bringing me to Yazovsky, an institution where the Burn Chernobyl project have helped bring about some positive changes. I'm told it's a more inclusive and loving place.
Hello.
Как дела? Dara. Это Dara. Dara. How are you?
These are the cool guys in the group.
Yeah,
You know?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
They call him, yeah.
Things seem a lot more progressive here in this institution than in most of the other ones that I've seen.
It's like a lot of things in Belarus. If there's a good director or a director who wants things to happen, things will happen. That's why when we wanted to build a house for independent living and we looked around and said where would be the best place to do it, where we could actually trust the man that things would be the way you want them, we picked this place.
So the idea is that some of the people who are in the institution, if they're able enough, they will be able to independently live over there in that house.
In that house, and some people have moved in already in this first house.
This new approach is about changing attitudes towards people with special needs and treating them with dignity.
All the other orphanages, they all want this. This is what they want for their places now. So hopefully, but I mean, it all depends on money. But even to create that idea in the minds of the authorities here, they can see, look, this is what it is, and this is what we'd hope to do, or keep it going. But it's hard work, it's hard work.
Back in Gorodisce, I asked could I meet Banni one last time. But my request has been denied. I wish I was able to go home and tell my parents that Banni is happy and healthy. But sadly, I can't.
He loves you.
What a difference from the boy who stayed with my family 15 years ago. And it's heartbreaking. Where Banni will end up next and what his future will be like, I really don't know. Why the adoption was blocked, I don't think we'll ever get an answer. If it wasn't for Brother Liam, Irene, and the Irish volunteers who give so selflessly of their time, I'm really not sure what hope there'd be.
It was so difficult, Liam, seeing Banni again after all those years and looking at the places he may be going on to next, the adult asylums.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any other way of looking at it than a bleak one?
Yeah, for Banni, because he's such a kind of a closed-in, living with himself, kind of an individual, it's difficult to imagine what will be there. He could end up in a place where people mightn't understand him as you would have understood him as a child. It's a matter of getting somebody with the time to follow Banni's case. And the fact that you were here and followed up on it, that will make a difference. The fact that you've shown it, oh, will, yeah.
Throughout this whole thing, I've been trying to look for some sort of hope. What hope do you see, Liam?
Yeah. When you think where we started and where we are now, things have come an awful long way, so there obviously is hope. When the volunteers come from Ireland, they go in with buckets of love and buckets of kindness. So if every child has somebody like that, then things change.
And what do you still take from it today?
Is it a Ukrainian phrase that if you think you're a leader and there's nobody behind you, you're just out for a walk. So I came out here, a lot of people have followed, you know. So, and now they're all leading the way and they're bringing their friends and they're bringing new volunteers and they're bringing new love and kindness and everything into the orphanages. And that's what the world is about, isn't it?
It's comforting to think that people like Brother Liam are looking out for Banni. And for my family, well, we'll always wonder, what if? What if Banni had stayed with us? What would his life be like now? I guess we'll never know. But we certainly won't forget that beautiful little boy we were lucky enough to have in our family.
Are you going to sleep? Are you going to sleep? You're going to sleep. You're going to sleep.